everyone, welcome back to the Creator Shelf, and you are joining me after a very long break. Yes, I have been away for a couple of months. Welcome back to all the people who've subbed to this channel and are following me, and a warm welcome to all the new subscribers. You are joining me in Brussels on a Saturday, overcast, cloudy day, but it is warm and we are finally in spring. I am so glad to be filming again. I'm glad to be back. So this video is going to be a bit of a pick and mix of kind of like what I've been looking at, what I've been working with, just where my mind has been at. I'm also kind of like warming up. This is the first video I'm doing after 2 months or something like that. And also some upcoming highlights. So hopefully this is interest to you. I will timestamp everything below, so bear with me. I'm also trying to get a flow here actually going as I speak, but I'll timestamp everything below so you can just pick and choose the chapters if you prefer that. Yes, my beast is joining me today again. He saw the filming come out and he was like, I have to be on camera, you know, that's how he is. So here he is joining me again, but now I'm going to say goodbye to him so I can actually just do this video. Great, there you go, bye. Okay, so welcome back everyone, and good to see you all here. I took a bit of a break. Yes, indeed. And the only thing was that I'm so sorry I didn't mention I took a bit of a break, but thank you to everybody who reached out to me, left either a comment or sent me a message or whatever, because there were some people who were like, are you okay? We haven't seen you for a while. Is everything fine? And that was really kind, and it meant something, you know, because it's been a bit of a period where, so as some of you know, at Christmas and then in January and February, I was working through some things. I was still doing videos, still very much active and happy to be doing the Curator Shelf. But what was happening was that I was working through some really deep issues, and it was almost like I'm plastering on a side of like I was just kind of like showing up for the camera, and at the same time just really didn't feel good inside. And when that's happening and I'm having to look at some things which were very deep and integral to past issues, it just didn't feel right actually. So I kind of like used the opportunity to just take a break, to take some weeks off, to spend some time with my spirit guides. That's the best way I can put it. And you know, just a time of contemplation basically, and a lot of writing, and a lot of kind of like recharging, re-energizing my battery, that kind of thing. So it's been good for me. Sometimes a bit quiet, sometimes a bit lonely, sometimes just busy focusing on things. So yeah, it was a bit of a mix. I'm so glad also that in Europe things have definitely opened up a lot more. I think we're really going back to a different rhythm, which is good, you know, just more upbeat, more mixing with people. And hopefully this summer I will also be spending some time in the UK, which is going to be great. But as some of you know, I'm based in Brussels, so that's where I shoot from. And it's just good to see you all here, and welcome back again. So first and foremost, let me talk about a deck that I worked with for it's been a good month. Well, all of March and basically all of April, and I've been pulling a card every day, and it's not a tarot deck. I basically really immersed myself with this particular deck. It wasn't planned. It wasn't like this is going to be the deck that I'm going to be working with, but it arrived sometime in February. I'd already tried it once or twice. I was intrigued, and it's a mass market oracle deck. So there you go. So it's the Australian Wildflower reading cards by Sherilyn Darcy. Now, I know this has been around for some time. This is definitely not a new deck. It's by Rockpool. I think it's around the €15 mark, so it's very, very affordable. But I just, you know, I was really just kind of like, I want to try this, because I wanted to work with cards which are just not too, how can I put it? I'm still working with tarot, but I wanted to work with an oracle card deck. I don't know what it was, but this just really pulled me. I thought, let me try it. And these oracle cards, the readings are not so heavy. So first, let me show you the cards. These are the backs. Beautiful framed backs, very Aussie style. They remind me of kind of like, you know, the homes that I've seen on TV, because I've never been to Australia, but the homes that I've seen on TV, you know, this very fresh, I don't know how to put it, like old vintage homes, quaint, beautifully built by the settlers, and these are the actual beautiful paintings. Now, I understand these were done using gouache paints, and Cheryl and Darcy really just did a beautiful job of creating these images. I am not familiar with these flowers, just to be very clear. Again, I'm not based in Australia, and so these are very native to that land. However, you know, and some people might find that a barrier. For me, it was definitely not a barrier, because the message of the card just came through very fluently. We have the name of the flower. So, for example, this is tree spider orchid. Then below we have resolve. So there's a keyword, and so the keyword already helped me to tap in. And what I really liked about these cards, when I had one sitting at my desk every day, was that they were not distracting. They really just blended in with the rest of my papers on my desk as I was working through the day. So these have been just amazing for me to use and to work with. I pulled a card every day after I did some meditation, reflection, being in touch with my spirit guide, really just listening to what I needed to listen to. After that, I would pull one of these cards. So for example, this is water ribbons and it's freedom. And let's take a sample reading. Sample reading is, so they're done alphabetically. So water ribbons. So let's go to W. Here we go. So this is the length of the reading, very short. And it gives a little bit about the actual plant here. So the first paragraph is about it being an aquatic plant, how tall it grows, where you can find it in Australia, what it actually looks like in reality, kind of like the colors of the leaves, and how it's growing in the wild. So the first paragraph is just really about the plant, but not too long. And then you have the message of the oracle, which for today, for water ribbons, so let's read that out for you. Here we go, so you can see that clearly. Water ribbons means freedom. You are now free to take new paths. Opportunities arise, enabling you to do what your heart truly desires. It also shows that you perhaps need to give freedom to your emotions. Trust in the environment and others are both important right now. What can you let go of to lighten your load and become truly free? There is a changing tide, but you need to choose whether you're going with it or against it. Will benefit you in the long term. Water ribbons warns against drifting aimlessly and becoming ungrounded. So there's a bit of a warning here as well. So that's kind of like the reverse bit, you know, that it could also be about drifting aimlessly and just becoming ungrounded. And as a healer, it supports those with trust issues and is very good for people who have a fear of crowds or new situations. So what a beautiful reading, and so small, one paragraph, and yet it pulls a punch. So yeah, I particularly really enjoyed working with these cards, and as I mentioned, they just sat. It's like having a bouquet of flowers on my desk. That's how it felt. Soft, gentle, and just really. How can I put it? It's a non-fussy oracle deck. That's the best way I can put it. And there are some oracle decks which go into a lot of depth. For example, the Alana Fairchild decks or Lucy Cavendish and so forth. And they're great, and I love them. This deck is for me more of a daily draw deck. It can be used also weekly, of course, but because it's the messages are not too long and they quickly get to the point, I found it really just good as a very soothing practice. If you're somebody that's looking to have a practice which helps you go back to basics, helps you to just remember a 24-hour period, and you want to do a daily draw, and you want to step out of the tarot zone, I would definitely recommend something like this. I think it is just perfect in terms of just helping to have, you know, just that morning where I'd sit down, it'd be like 7 or 8 in the morning, and I'd pull one of these cards and just journal a page or two in my diary, not more. I didn't need I don't need to write an essay. I think even sometimes half a page or a few bullet points is enough for me. But what it helped me do was just to help connect me to the card for that morning, and then throughout the day when I had it at my desk, it was just lovely. And you know, my journal is always nearby, so if anything else comes up, I can just go and jot it down. So that's something that I thought I'd mention. And just I find the art is lovely. I find it very distinct, actually. There's not so much of this around. Of course, now this is a well-known deck, so we've seen it a lot with other YouTube videos as well. But I don't know, I picked it up because I really like I've got her one, the Nightflower Oracle or something like that. I've got that deck too, and that was the first one I bought, and I really like that deck. And I think on the back of that, I picked this up for spring because I wanted something with a lighter background. So really loving this, and yeah, it's definitely worth a purchase. So I think I paid something like, I got it on sale. I think I paid something like €11 for it, and great, you know, just a great deck for me to have with me, and I'm not going to be decluttering this anytime soon. Okay, so that was the Australian Wildflower reading cards. Sherilyn Darcy, she's done quite a few things. So even if specifically this aesthetic is not for you, do check out YouTube videos of her other decks. And I think you're going to find perhaps something that really just rings true for you. I think she's also the one that did the saltwater reading cards, and I did buy them, but I decided not to hold on to them. They just didn't resonate for me. But the flower deck does. So there you go. I think I'm a flower girl. I think that's what it's about. Okay, so moving swiftly on from there, I thought I would also mention, so this is the next chapter, I thought I'd also mention other decks which I've noticed that are coming through, and I've seen them pop up on Book Depository. Now these are mass market decks, of course, sorry, I should say, and I don't visit the Llewellyn or the Hay House websites that often because I live in Belgium, and basically some don't even ship here. Like all the Llewellyn stuff doesn't even come to Europe at all. They don't ship. I don't think they ship outside of the United States, or is that US Games? I think it's both, maybe, I don't know. But anyway, I tend to buy from Amazon and Book Depository, and then I can always get Lo Scarabeo decks from the main platforms or from Lo Scarabeo in Italy. So if it's within the EU, then yeah, I can just buy from the local, but otherwise I just use like Amazon and stuff like that. So kind of like looking at decks on Amazon or on Book Depository, I came across a few others which are on pre-order status, and I just noted them down. I thought maybe they might have been of interest to you. So first and foremost, actually I mentioned all of that. The first one I wanted to mention is one that I've not seen anywhere, but it's been mentioned. So a few months ago, back in November, I did a review of The Frost of Enchantment by Linnea Weatherston, a beautiful, beautiful deck, which is somewhere in there. Maybe I'll get it out so that I don't end up confusing you all with some other deck. So hold on a second, let me just put these to the side. Oh, please tell me I can access it. Oh, you see, this is what happens when you have about 100 and something decks, which I do by now. There it is, it's at the back there. Now, let me just try and get it out for you. So, sorry, you are seeing the back of my head now. Great for filming purposes. But there it is. There it is. So this is the Forest of Enchantment Tarot deck by Linnea Weatherston, and I wasn't going to show you this now, but I might as well since I've got it open. I'll just do a quick few cards. I think most of you have already seen it. It is an absolute gorgeous deck, and the artist, okay, now Linnea has already told me how to pronounce this, and I've already forgotten. Meralea, I think it's Meralea or Meralea is the artist. I know I'm butchering her name again. I'm so sorry, Miss Weatherston. And the reason why I want to mention it, and I want to just try and find the artist's second name. This is a little bit. Meralea Allwood is the artist. This deck is just, yeah, I still think about this deck actually. And then I have to say to myself, no, you can't work with it in the summer because you've also got other things to work with. That's how much I think about this deck. I edged mine, so it's now this kind of like dark black green kind of thing. These are the backs, and these are some of the images. It is just, the artist is from, I think it's Suffolk, I can't remember, or no, she's from Surrey, England. And so the forest really reminds me of England. It reminds me of home. Actually, strangely, the forest depictions here remind me of Nottingham Forest in England, because I've been through Nottingham as well. But this is more, I think, based around the southern forests. But it's absolutely beautiful. It's gorgeous. It's just a medley of magicians, elves, witches, fairy godmothers, you know, kind of like knights and cavaliers, kind of like, you know, dragons, and you've got everything in here. You've got the wonderful grandmother energy, archetypal energy. You've got the elf energy coming along. You've got the crow here, the magician again here, the enchanter they call them. You know, the knight in shining armor, the white knight in shining armor, exhausted, trying to do everything, 10 of challenges. So, you know, it's a lovely deck. And I'm not using it right now because I've already used it for a month and I've got other decks to work with. But this is a deck which I will never let go of. I hope I never let go of. It's a deck that I know that I want to revisit. And actually, I'm thinking I might put it on my desk actually this month already, because this coming month in May, because I just love it. And I love the colors. And yeah, what else can I say? I just think about this deck very often. I think about the images in it very often too. But the reason why I mention it is because, and this is not, of course, a new deck, this is 2019, but the reason why I mention it is because Lynetta Weatherston very kindly left a comment on the video for this deck, saying that she's got an oracle deck in the works, which is amazing, an oracle deck to accompany the Forest of Enchantment Tarot. And that is due out in 2024. I think it's Llewellyn Publications again as well. So I'm really looking forward to that. I will be snapping that up for sure. And I just thought I'd mention that in case anybody's interested. So going back to other new releases coming out, let me just find my book again. Here it is. Yeah. So the other one is, yes, another Llewellyn. So let me just go through the Llewellyn ones. Is Deborah Blake and Elizabeth Alba. I know they're doing another deck. And for the life of me, I can't remember the theme. I'm so sorry, it's gone out of my head. I have seen, though, a few images. I think it's based upon the Black Cat. So if anybody's wondering, what did they do before? They did, of course, the Everyday Witch. So they've got another tarot deck, it is a tarot deck, coming out. This is the Everyday Witch. I won't go through this deck, otherwise we'll be here forever. But the same creators, basically, the same duo are bringing something else through. I don't know when it's going to be released. Hopefully I'll get more information on that soon. But I just thought I'd mention that too. I absolutely love this. I mean, like, these two for me have become like firm favorites. If anybody's wondering, is it worth going out and buying both? Yes, it is. I don't think you'll regret it. I know some people haven't held on to this. I can't speak today. Haven't held on to this one, and I think for some it's just more of a transitory deck, which I can understand. Not all decks for me I'm going to be holding on to. I'm going to go through a declutter soon, but for me, I really enjoy the energies of both of these decks. This is more for my like teenage and young puberty self, to be honest with you. It's more kind of like that energy of a deck which I don't feel judged in, to be very honest with you, and I don't feel intimidated. And I'm talking about the Everyday Witch here. I don't feel intimidated. I don't feel as if I have to have a very mature energy. And some of you may also identify with this, but I'm one of those people where, because of my personal circumstances, and some things that happened when I was younger, some of us kind of like have that feeling of growing up a bit too quickly, which I know some others identify with as well. And this deck has allowed me to be my younger self sometimes, who didn't get that space at that time. So I really like the deck for that. This deck for that. But let me just get my Forest of Enchantment. The reason why I love this one so much. See, I'm back with the two decks that I love, and Llewellyn decks that I love. But the reason why this one has also been very close to me is this is very strong with archetypal energies, looking at things like, you know, the grandmother, the father figure, the fantasy or the want to be rescued, of saving ourselves. Like, it just, for me, really tapped into finding new friends, finding trust in something when you're young, that kind of thing. And this was really, really good. As I don't like that word shadow so much. I think I've said that like 1,000 times now, but it really helped me to look at where I've crossed a challenge and had to overcome that obstacle within myself. And this was a good deck for me to look at. So anyway, that's why I like Llewellyn decks so much. They're just so good. I don't know how else to put it. They're just so good. But yes, so that's why I wanted to mention Deborah Blake and Elizabeth Albert. Now, there's another one that's available in pre-order from Book Depository already, and I'm pretty sure on some Amazon sites, and that's Tarot Dragons. And conveniently, I can't remember who it's by. But if you go into the Book Depository, let me see if I can just get my phone now. I'll look it up for you. Let me look it up for you. Book Depository. So yeah, so I saw the Tarot of Dragons. Now I think it has a very similar vibe, to be honest with you, with the Forest of Enchantment and some of the other decks, like the there's also the Modern Spellcasters by Llewellyn. It has that kind of imagery which we're all very familiar with from the Llewellyn foresty, magical, witchy kind of decks. But look, I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff, and I ordered it. So there you go. And you know, with pre-orders from Book Depository, you all know that I personally find that with some decks, when we get them on, when we kind of like get them on pre-order, we have the opportunity to get them at a better price than when they go into that stratosphere of being really overpriced. I don't know how to put it. There's a period where a deck is so popular that it's like 40 or 50 euros when really it's RRP, recommended retail price, is like the 25 euro mark. And that really annoys me. I won't buy a deck when it goes into that kind of like level, that kind of money. So here it is, Tarot of Dragons by Sean Mackenzie. I'm just going to click on the name and see what else have they done. So they've done other things on dragons and unicorns by the looks of it, but yeah, so this is interesting. So you can go and I'll see if I can link it below for you. I'll try and do that. And then what else is coming through? Oh, that's a whole load of cards I've just dropped. Hold on a second so I don't run them over with my chair. Okay. See, first video back in 2 months and it's a sloppy mess, but there you go. The next one. Yes, so I've also seen a deck again on Book Depository. It's already available for pre-order. Barbara Moore, Trick or Treat. It's a Halloween themed deck by the looks of it. I'm really intrigued by that one, and I think I'm going to get that too. Like, you can see me going mad. Now, I didn't buy last year the Low Scarabeo Jack-O-Lantern, and I really, really wanted to get it, but I'd already been spending a lot of money because my birthday, as you all know by now, is in October. It's just before, Halloween. It's the week before Halloween. And then we have Christmas. So I do this thing where I kind of like wait, and then near the end of the year, I just get a whole bunch of decks, basically. Yeah. So I think that's what I'm going towards with these decks, basically. They'll be my birthday stuff. So anyway, this Trick or Treat by Barbara Moore. You can find information on that also at Book Depository, and I think it's around the 25, 30 euro mark right now. So there you go. And then finally, there's a deck which the name I can't remember, but I know I've seen it on Insta. I've seen a few images of it, kind of thing. And it's a vampire deck, and it's also Llewellyn. So all of these ones that I'm mentioning are large box decks, basically similar kind of like to that. And that's a vampire deck, and I don't know when the release date for that is, but I'm on the lookout for it. So there we go. That's Llewellyn upcoming releases. Others are, I've already mentioned, Hay House is doing the mass market version of Guardians of the Night by MJ Cullinan. Also now available for pre-order on Book Depository, and also available for pre-order on Book Depository. The release date is, I think, October, but I've already gone and got it for myself, which is Fabio Listrani's Notoria. I love Listrani. I love nearly all of his stuff. There are some of his decks I still don't have, and the reason why is because when I get a Fabio Listrani deck, I need to like ogle it, pour over it, love it, tender it, give it kisses, kind of like stare at it a long time, keep going over the cards. I have deep fascination. Right now that's happening with me in the night sun. Then I put it aside for a bit because, you know, we're coming out of the winter energy, but I really like Fabulous Starne's work. So when I sit with one of his decks, I want to sit with it, and I don't want to kind of like, I don't want to do fast food with them, if that makes sense. I don't want to do kind of like that quick, kind of like quick draw kind of thing, and then they're flung to the side. And I really love his stuff. I really like how he touches into the Golden Dawn themes. I really like his work with numerology. I like his work with demons. I'm going to be intrigued with angels. So yeah, so this is going to be another treat for myself, but later on this year. Okay, and then and that's it really. There's loads of indie stuff out on Etsy, so I haven't really kept up with it that much right now. There's a few indie decks that I would love to get, but I'm having a bit of a budget thing going on here where I'm like, and the reason why I want to say this openly, so this will be the next chapter. So let's just say I'm going to close the chapter on upcoming decks for a second and just talk about indie decks and indie deck prices. So let me get an indie deck out, which gives a good thought process on this issue. I picked up earlier on, so this is the Cosma Visions Oracle. This is a beautiful deck. I really need to sit with this one. I think it's amazing for storytelling. You pull 2 cards and you can definitely write. If you're someone that does creative writing and needs to keep practicing and warming up, just pull one of these cards and you've got a story there, or 2 or 3. You've got a whole story there. But the reason why is that I wanted to mention was this cost me, I think at the time, €50, and I bought it from Tarot NL in the Netherlands. For Belgium, if it's over a certain amount, it's free postage and packaging for us. So for me, that works out as my most closest indie deck boutique. There are other fantastic indie deck boutiques in the EU space if you're looking, just to know. But the reason I buy from them is because they're kind of like the neighboring countries, so it works out cheaper for me. But this cost me €50. However, and also it's available now on Etsy, because I know James Reed has opened up his Etsy shop. It's got the name right, James Reed. Yes, James, it's not James Reed, sorry, I'm so sorry about that. It's James R. Eads. I just see it as James Reed's. I'm so sorry, it's James R. Eads. But the reason I want to mention this is that if this not had been available via Tarot NL, or, well, on Etsy, what happens is that we need to pay a certain tax when the item arrives into the country. Now, when we buy from the local boutique the same item, because they're buying en masse, the cost gets spread. However, if I buy it individually from Etsy and it comes to me, which is, for example, it's happening with the Deviant Moon Trionfi della Luna illustrated pips. I've bought a copy and it's on its way. If I buy it from the Etsy store of that shop and it's not being sold at the local level, I need to pay the full tax as an individual because it's not bought in a batch, basically. That's 21%. And what happens is that I don't get charged the admin fee because I've already prepaid the tax. However, if I buy directly from the retailer, so for example, if I don't buy it via the Etsy shop of Patrick Valenza, if I buy from Patrick Valenza's own website, I pay the tax, I pay for the deck, I pay for the tax, plus when the item comes into the country, because they're going to process me paying the tax, I get hit by an admin fee. And in Belgium, the admin fee is 15 to 20 euros per item. That's about 20 to 25 US dollars per item. So even if the item just costs 10 euros and I'm paying a tax of 2 euros, so now it's 12 euros, they will still charge me 15 euros to process it coming into the country. That doesn't happen with the Etsy shop. There's a system behind it. It's called the IOSS, the EU IOSS. But this is why I'm just trying to explain the whole indie deck situation for those of you who might be like, why does she go on about this so much? This is why I've been currently staying away from some indie decks, which I would love to buy. But when I go into the Etsy shop, even if I don't pay the admin fee, the deck's already around the 80 euro mark, which is about 100 US dollars. And then I'm paying the tax. So it takes me from 80 euros to about 100 euros. And then the shipping. And I'm looking at sometimes 115 to 120 euros, which is about 125, 130 US dollars just to get the deck here. Way above my budget, I have to just say that. And not just about budgets, but I want to mention this in case anybody's out there and you're new at collecting, or you're new to the total tarot thing, and you might be seeing a lot of videos and a lot of money spent and thinking, I'd love to participate in this, but I'm not going to be spending that money. I just want to be really clear with you. I also am very, very meticulous in how I spend that money. And even if I had a lot of money, to be very frank, which I don't, but even if I had money to spend like that, to spend 130 US dollars on a deck for me, which if I'd been in the US would have cost me $50 maybe with Kickstarter or whatever, it doesn't feel good. That's what I have to say in the end. It doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel like, wow. It feels like I've bought a deck with burnt fingers. I don't know how else to express it. And every time I touch the deck or I look at the deck, it just is going to leave me with a sinking feeling. And so I just want to be really open here why you're not hearing too much about like latest indie purchases. Anyway, so that's one other chapter, and I'm going to stop there on that one. And then finally, let me go on to some other things that are coming through, which I thought would be fun. And so I want to mention that a new purchase that I've made, and it just arrived a couple of days ago, which was like, woohoo! And it is another mass market deck, but hey, I'm a bit late to the game on this one, but I had to get it because I wanted to try it. I was intrigued. And that is the Tarot of the Divine. Now, currently at my Amazon Netherlands, this is retailing for like 11 euros or something like that. So if you're interested and you are using the Amazon Netherlands platform, or maybe it's the same, I don't know, for the other, I don't know, Amazon FR or Amazon DE or whatever, you might want to check it out because it's actually a pretty good price. So I picked this up, and I still need to get the book, you know, the Beneath the Moon book. But I bought this, and at first I thought, this is not for me. And I was getting ready to let it go. But then I kind of like got intrigued, and I thought, and I'm not going to go through all the cards now. I say that, right? And then you see me opening the box, and you're like, she's going to go through the cards. I think she's going to go through the cards as she talks, which is what's going to happen. But what happened was that as I kind of like sat with it for a few days, what I realized was there's some things that I've got a very particular thought of. One, I think I'm going to struggle using this as a tarot deck because I think the art is gorgeous. And I should mention the author. I'm so sorry, I should say it, the creator. The creator is Yoshitani. I think the deck is gorgeous. I think the work put in to create this deck is amazing. I know a lot of thought was put in. The fairies, the folklore, the fairy tales, or the epics, the myths, the traditions, even the religions that have been included in this deck. It's absolutely beautiful. I think it's very tastefully done. I didn't see things in there that would offend me. I know there's some Indian stories in here as well. One of the stories has actually got someone in it whose name is the first name I was given when I was born, and then my name was changed. But it's a beautiful, beautiful deck. However, I don't think I'm going to use this very much as a tarot deck, to be quite honest with you. And the reason is, and I had to really think about this, was the deck is each card is so loaded with like the potency of that story and that energy. I feel as well sometimes that there are some decks where I'd be so staring into the card for its depth of meaning and the story behind it that I wouldn't be able to read it for its key. And I think it's really important I say that. I'm a tarot reader that really needs to get to the key as soon as possible, because I'm always reading it as a set, and a set that's showing me things like not just the people, but the places, the timing, the planets, the energies that are moving, the questions to be asked, the questions that are being answered. I'm someone that's reading it as like a real map. And when I read it as a map, if I get stuck on one card too much and I get drawn into its fairy tale and folklore, I can get distracted. So I just want to be really honest with that there. However, I think this is going to be a good deck to journey with. A bit similar to the Forest of Enchantment, but the Forest of Enchantment I think is much more versatile, so something else. But that's also folklore in many ways, specifically fairy folklore and fae folklore and forest folklore. This is more for me world legends, kind of like folklore. But what I was thinking was I might do some workshops and journey workshops. Now, I'm going to do them on here on the curator shelf, and they'll be available to all. Like, I'm going to do it as probably a midweek pop-up where I'm going to just do a set of them, and I'm going to be starting on already kind of like soon in the next few days, or next week, sorry. So just bear with me and you'll see the first installment already. If you've got this deck, great. If you don't worry. You don't need to go out and buy anything. I don't believe in encouraging people to go and get something very specific and whatever. If you have something that helps you tap into folklore, that's going to be helpful for this kind of like, and it's not a lot of work. It's basically going to be kind of like journeying, a couple of Q&As kind of thing, sorry, a couple of questions to ponder and think about. We will be working with an energy here. So just to remember that it is going to be done on timing. And so if you can keep up with like every few days or every week as I post, that's helpful. So you don't end up with this like lump of like, oh my God, it's like 4 videos and I have to go through it all in one go. But at the same time, don't stress about it too much. I'm someone that's going to encourage as much as possible. You can do a lot of writing, and like, 4, 5, 10 pages, whatever, fill out a diary, whatever, a journal. And sometimes I believe that I get most potency when I'm working on something and I want to ride the flow. I don't need to write like essay after essay. Sometimes I just need to get my journal and note 5 points. Sometimes I've made it, what can I write in a page? What can I cover in 1 page? And therefore it makes it really potent what I need to look at, what I need to focus upon. And so I just want to mention that you know, that what I'm going to be perhaps putting forward, don't need to think of it as like a big assignment or anything like that. So if you're interested, do let me know in the comments. I'm also going to be, this is the card I was talking about. This is Mohini. That was my first name given to me, and so it's a bit special there. This is the Pandavas, which is from the Mahabharata, the story of the Mahabharata. I don't know who that is. Yeah, so it's a gorgeous deck. Sorry, see, this is where I'm just kind of like, I'm staring at pictures and I'm going, ooh, I'm already drawn into it. But don't feel like you have to have this deck or something like that. But just let me know what you think if you want to do this. It's, again, like I'm just saying, don't feel like this is a heavy assignment. Think of more of it as like, it's a fun activity and I get to do something over a period of time. So just think of it as that, and have fun with it. That's the best thing I'm going to say. I'm looking at the cards and I'm trying to talk to you. Sorry about that. but here we go. Oh, I think she's just done such a beautiful job with this deck. That it's that linen cardstock finish, which some people like. I'm not too fussed about it. I don't really care that much, to be honest with you, of this cardstock. My personal cardstock's favourite still is some of the Llewellyn stuff, because even though that they chip and they do stuff like that, they're very easy to work with and they're small. This is small too. And I love that Blue Angel matte finish stuff as well. But we are coming up to nearly 40 minutes on this video, so I better stop there. You know, it's just a beautiful deck. It's got a lot of potency of energies in it, but at the same time, it's just, yeah, it's fun, it's cute. So I'm going to be thinking about how I structure things, but I think that I've got an idea in mind, and it will probably be around the midweek pop-ups where I'll be doing kind of like that workshop storytelling kind of like videos. And if you'd like to join in, let me know again. But other than that, thank you for joining me today. Again, you know, I'm sorry I took a break and I didn't say it, but yeah, I'll start to upload again as usual, and it's just good to be back, good to be filming. This is a very long video, so I better stop here. But hope you have a wonderful weekend wherever you are. Sending you much love and take care. Bye-bye.